Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're here, chances are you're feeling like the weight of the world is pressing on your chest. A breakup, right? That raw, hollow ache that sneaks up on you at the quietest moments, making everything seem out of place. The laughter you used to share, the future you imagined together, it all feels like it's slipping away. And now, the silence. The deafening silence. You've probably spent countless hours replaying conversations in your head, dissecting every word, every look, every action. Do they miss me? Are they thinking about me? Have they moved on? These questions swirl around in your mind, and the answers feel just out of reach. The not knowing, that's the hardest part, isn't it? But here's something you need to hear. They are thinking about you. Maybe not in the way you expect or at the same depth you are, but you haven't vanished from their mind. You're a presence, a memory, an emotion they can't simply erase. And in this moment, while you're drowning in doubt, you have far more power than you realize. This period of no contact isn't just about them, it's about you. It's about regaining control over your emotions, your thoughts, and your life. They might be questioning your silence, second-guessing their decisions, or even missing your presence in ways they can't fully admit. But here's the truth. How they think or feel during this time is not what defines you. In today's video, we're going to unravel what's going on in their head. We'll explore the layers of emotions they experience during no contact: curiosity, guilt, regret, or even defensiveness. With the wisdom of Stoicism as our guide, combined with a deeper understanding of human psychology, we'll uncover the dynamics of this silence and its impact on them. But this isn't just about them. This is about you, about rising above the pain and confusion, about reclaiming your self-worth and standing tall again. No contact is not a punishment. It's a tool for growth, healing, and clarity. It's a time for you to reflect, rebuild, and remember the strength you hold within. If you're ready to shift your perspective and break free from the emotional chains of uncertainty, stay with me, because today we're diving deep, not just into their thoughts, but into your power to transform this moment into something extraordinary. Let's take control together. Number 1, their mental state after the breakup. Let's face it, the aftermath of a breakup feels like standing in the wreckage of something you thought would last forever. But while you're caught in the storm of shock and heartbreak, they're in a completely different mental space. The truth is, when they initiated the breakup, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. They've been preparing for it, rehearsing the conversation in their minds, trying to convince themselves it's for the best. That's why it feels like the ground has fallen out beneath you, while they seem calm, or even distant. But don't mistake their composure for clarity. Yes, there's a sense of relief when they finally take that step. They think, I've done it, I've freed myself. But reality doesn't always align with expectations. The freedom they imagined is fleeting, and in its place comes an emotional cocktail of guilt, uncertainty, and doubt. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and this is where the battle begins for them. Their thoughts are far from harmonious. On one hand, they try to rationalize their choice. They tell themselves it was the right decision, that this was necessary for their growth or happiness. On the other hand, a quiet voice lingers, asking questions they can't ignore. Did I let go of something precious? What if I regret this later? This inner conflict is their silent companion. Even when they appear confident, there's an undercurrent of unease. The clarity they sought when making the decision feels more elusive than ever. They start questioning if the emotional weight they've tried to shed was worth losing you. And here's the beauty of no contact. It forces them to sit with these feelings. When you don't chase them, when you resist the urge to explain or plead, you create a vacuum. That silence is where their reflection begins. They have no distractions to lean on, no excuses to justify their choices. They're left alone with their thoughts, and that's where the real introspection happens. Your absence doesn't just highlight what they've lost, it magnifies their uncertainty. And while you might think they've moved on, remember this: they're navigating the same maze of emotions as you are. The difference is, while you're focused on healing, they're left wondering if they've made a mistake they can't undo. Number 2, your emotional state. Let's talk about you for a minute. I know how raw it feels. The pain of rejection cuts deep, doesn't it? It's a peculiar kind of agony, the kind that lingers in the silence, in the unanswered questions. You replay moments, searching for where it all went wrong, wondering if you could have done something differently. It feels like the very foundation of your world has been shaken, leaving you standing amidst the ruins of what you thought was forever. But let me tell you something essential. This pain is not your identity. It's not a permanent marker of who you are. It's an experience, a storm that's here to test your resilience, not define your worth. You're hurting, and that's okay. Allow yourself to feel it. This isn't about brushing it off or pretending to be fine. It's about confronting the storm with courage. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Your mind right now is a battlefield. It amplifies the pain, conjures up fears, and paints grim scenarios. It tells you, what if I'll never find love again? Or, what if they were my one and only? But those thoughts aren't truths, they're fears. And fears have a way of distorting reality, making the pain seem larger and more permanent than it truly is. Remember this: rejection doesn't define your value. Just because they didn't see your worth doesn't mean it wasn't there. Sometimes people fail to appreciate something amazing right in front of them, not because it's not incredible, but because they're not in the right place to see it. Their decision to walk away reflects their inability to connect at that moment, not your shortcomings. Take this pain and let it fuel your growth. Use it as a mirror to rediscover yourself, the version of you that thrives even in the face of adversity. Focus on becoming the person you've always wanted to be, not for them, but for you. This is your opportunity to rise from the ashes, stronger and more self-assured. You are enough, always have been, always will be. If you're ready to reclaim your reality, drop an affirmation in the comments. I am growing stronger every day. Let that truth guide you through this journey of healing and self-discovery. Number 3, their reaction during no contact. All right, here's where the tables start to turn, and it's not as obvious as you might think. When you initiate no contact, it feels like you're withdrawing from their world, like you're fading into the background. But let me assure you, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, your silence speaks volumes, and they're listening, whether they admit it or not. The moment you step back, something shifts in their mind. It starts subtly. They notice the absence of your messages, the lack of your presence in their life. And that absence stirs curiosity. They begin to wonder, why haven't they reached out? Did they move on? Are they seeing someone else? It's human nature to notice what's missing, and your silence is like an echo that grows louder with time. But curiosity doesn't stop there. It evolves. As the days go by, they may start to feel an unexpected emptiness, a realization that something, or rather someone significant, is no longer there. This is when regret begins to creep in. They ask themselves questions they never anticipated. Did I make the wrong choice? Or what if I've lost something irreplaceable? This shift is rooted in a psychological principle. People value what they can't easily have. When you stop being readily available, you create scarcity, and scarcity amplifies desire. Suddenly, the attention they once took for granted becomes a missing piece in their life. They replay memories, relive moments, and question whether they underestimated your value. And here's where things get even more interesting. Regret has a unique way of opening doors they thought were closed. You might notice them reaching out, seemingly out of the blue, with messages that feel casual. "Hey, just checking in," or "I was thinking about you." But these aren't just words. They're attempts to test the waters, to see if they still have a place in your life. This is your moment of power. Resist the urge to jump back in. Don't fall into old patterns where you over-explained or reassured them. Let your silence continue to work its magic. Silence doesn't just create distance, it creates a mirror, forcing them to confront their choices and the reality of what they may have lost. Your absence is your strength. Stand firm and let them feel it. And if you're ready to reclaim your power, drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the prize, and I choose my worth. Number 4. Fear of losing you forever. As the days stretch on and the silence deepens, something profound begins to stir in their mind. The initial relief they might have felt after the breakup, like a weight lifted, is now replaced by an unsettling void. And from that void, a powerful new emotion emerges: fear. The fear of losing you forever. At first, this fear whispers rather than shouts. It's subtle, creeping in during quiet moments, like when they scroll through their phone and notice your absence, or when a memory of you surfaces unexpectedly. They may brush it off, telling themselves it's just a passing thought. But the truth is, your absence has planted a seed of doubt that begins to grow, steadily and persistently. This isn't just about missing your presence. It's about the realization that you might not be coming back. The permanence of that idea is terrifying. It's human nature to fear losing something valuable, especially when it feels like it's slipping further and further away. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it." And your silence? It's forcing them to react. They're now confronted with the reality of their decision, stripped of the distractions and justifications they clung to in the beginning. In the quiet moments, they're left to wonder, what if I was wrong? What if I underestimated what we had? And the most haunting thought of all, what if they've already moved on? This fear has a way of growing louder with time. The longer you remain absent, the more their imagination fills the void. They might start picturing you laughing with someone else, rebuilding your life, and finding happiness without them. And that image, it stings. It's the kind of pain that can't be ignored. It's important to understand that this fear doesn't mean they'll automatically come running back. But it does mean they're beginning to see what they took for granted. Fear of loss is a powerful motivator. It can make people question their choices, regret their actions, and reconsider their priorities. By staying silent, you're not just letting them feel your absence. You're allowing them to realize the weight of their decisions. You're giving them the space to understand that their sense of loss is not about you chasing them. It's about them realizing they might have lost something irreplaceable. So, hold your ground. Your silence isn't just a strategy. It's a statement. It says, I value myself enough to let you see what life is like without me. Let that statement resonate. And if you're ready to affirm your strength, leave this in the comments. I am not chasing, I am growing. Number 5, the pressure to reach out. By this stage, something significant begins to shift in their mind. The curiosity that once kept them wondering about you has grown into a weighty regret, and that regret brings with it a new emotion: pressure. Pressure to act, pressure to reach out. The silence is no longer bearable for them, and they're beginning to feel the need to test the waters. But let's be clear, this isn't about them suddenly realizing the depth of your worth in its entirety. At first, their attempts may feel cautious, even calculated. They'll reach out with something simple, something that feels safe. A casual, "Hey, how's it going?" or "I just saw something that reminded me of you." It may even come disguised as concern, like, "I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing." It's subtle, but it's deliberate. They're trying to gauge where you stand without putting their own ego on the line. They're testing to see if the door is still open for them, even just a crack. But here's where your strength comes into play. When they reach out, you may feel a rush of emotions: relief, excitement, maybe even hope. And that's natural, but this is your moment to pause, to reflect, to ask yourself, do I really want to hand over the power I've worked so hard to reclaim? You see, your silence up to this point has spoken volumes. It's shown them that you're no longer the person who waits by the phone, hoping for their attention. It's shown them that you value yourself enough to walk away. If you respond to their casual reach out with the same eagerness and vulnerability they once took for granted, you risk undoing all the progress you've made. Instead, respond with calm confidence. Acknowledge their message, but don't overinvest. Keep your tone neutral, your words measured. Show them through your actions that you've grown, that you are no longer tethered to the same dynamic that existed before. This shift in energy will send a powerful message. It will make them question everything. Have they moved on? Are they really okay without me? Have I truly lost them? That uncertainty is where the real pressure begins. The truth is, they need to feel the weight of their actions. They need to experience the discomfort of not knowing where they stand with you. And the only way they can truly feel that is if you hold your ground. Let them wrestle with their regret. Let them wonder. And if they truly care, let them come to you with intention, not just curiosity. Remember, you're not here to prove your worth. They're here to recognize it. And when they feel the pressure to reach out, let them do so knowing that you're no longer the person they left behind. You've grown, and that growth is the most powerful response you can give. Number 6. Not being the backup plan. And finally, you are not anyone's backup plan. You are not an afterthought, a convenient fallback, or a second option. And the moment you start living like that, the dynamic shifts, not just between you and them, but also within yourself. It's easy to fall into the trap of being available, of waiting for their text, their call, their attention. You tell yourself it's just because you care, but deep down, there's a fear that if you're not there when they come back, they'll leave for good. But let me ask you this. Is that the kind of connection you want? Do you really want someone who only turns to you when all other options have run dry? People value what they fear losing. When you show them that you're always there, that no matter how they treat you, you'll still pick up the pieces, they start to take you for granted. It's human nature. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if your thoughts are consumed by their return, you're painting yourself into a corner where your worth is tied to their validation. By stepping back, by refusing to play the role of their backup plan, you're creating a powerful statement. Your absence becomes your strength. It forces them to face the reality of a life without you. And let me tell you, That's not something they'll take lightly. This doesn't mean you have to be cruel or indifferent. It simply means you set boundaries. You make it clear, not with words, but with actions, that you are not here to be an option. When they reach out, testing the waters, don't rush to assure them of your availability. Instead, respond with the confidence of someone who knows their worth. Standing your ground isn't just about how they perceive you, it's about how you perceive yourself. When you stop settling for less than you deserve, you start attracting the kind of respect and connection you truly crave. And if they truly care, if they genuinely see your value, they'll come back, not out of convenience, but because they realize they can't replace what you bring to their life. And if they don't, let them go, because you deserve someone who chooses you as their first and only option, not because you're waiting, but because they recognize your worth. Hold your ground. You're not the backup plan. You're the main character in your own story. Never forget that. So, there you have it. Now you know exactly what's going on in their mind, and most importantly, you know how to take back control of this situation. You're not powerless. You're not invisible. You're becoming stronger with every passing day. If this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. I'm rooting for you. You've got this. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.